Of a period of about 10 days, from July 5th to July 15th of 2014, Little Wargame hit it big. Little Wargame got everything that it could have asked for, and it inadvertently also gave the death knell to any argument that advertising is the primary flaw with Little Wargame. So here's what's happening. I went down. I was at vacation at the time with somebody. I was in Rota, Spain. I went down from Rota, Spain, having an absolute blast. Meanwhile, I was like, I'm going to check my email in the business center. I get there, 640 people are online. 1,600 people viewed the channel, like videos on the Little Wargame RTS channel, the official YouTube at the time. 1,600 people. But this is a video about what happened historically with that, because there are a lot of second-order effects. And sadly, over the case of 10 days, people went from a lobby of 640 to a lobby of a couple hundred to a lobby of 70 or 80 to a lobby of 50 inside of a couple of weeks. Inside of a period of a week, those 1,624 views that came on July 9th dropped down precipitously to around 240 views less than a week later and flattened out to normal levels soon thereafter. A lot of people were confused by this. Again, a lot of people had that who were in the lifestyle of Little Wargame didn't know what to make of this. So there are a lot of angles that were taken. One angle, and the angle that I took at the time, I don't believe it now, but that I took at the time was the problem with Little Wargame is that Little Wargame exists in the shadow of other RTS games. It can't just be in the shadow of other RTS games. There are AAA titles with paid developers, with dedicated teams, and PR, and marketing, and a brand name that can all stomp Little Wargame if Little Wargame tries to play by those rules. No matter how old it is, no matter how much the players complain about it, they will play Little Wargame and be reminded of this game that they also love that's in the same genre that's so similar they may as well play that game. And so there was a push to make Little Wargame simpler. There was even a mod that Invincible and I made called Little Wargame that rose in popularity, where the whole idea was the macro mechanics are very simplified. The micro is very simplified. The game speed is at the same speed, but the game will end in under 10 minutes, almost guaranteed. That was one avenue that people pushed for, was make RTS simpler, make Little Wargame simpler, make it a game that isn't so complex. There was another branch that stormed out from there, which seemed to happen at the same time, and you'll have to take, there's not videos for this, but you'll have to take my anecdotal appraisal of the situation. A lot of people, because JBS was the developer at the time, thought to themselves, JBS can't be the one to carry this show. We can't be under his thumb for the burden of all competitive balance. We're going to make things like AC Mod. We're going to make things like Itano Mod. We're going to make our own maps that have our own ranked balance. We don't want to deal with 125 or 200 gold houses. We are tired of arguing with whether a unit should be brought in or brought out. We're tired of having to display replays and beat this person over and over to express to them that balance is not the way that they envision the balance to be. It's too much for any one person, and this person isn't doing it well. So all those mods further fractured the community, but were built on the place that we have now synergized back together in version 4.3, when they eventually became Ladder Edition, or LE. They eventually became AA4, which is now the default balance of the game. And it was under the thought that maybe the game isn't difficult enough for these people. Maybe it's not rewarding enough for these people. Maybe for the people who are looking for an RTS that is unique and vibrant and offers them something for their skill set, they just don't find it inside of Little Wargame. So we're going to make sure they find it. We're going to make the game something that rewards those people for the time and effort and investment that they put in. Jibs' own thoughts? The people left because there wasn't enough to do. That was his genuine thought. Little Chat Game actually came about as something that he made because he thought people wanted something to do in the lobbies. They weren't satisfied by the games, and there was nothing to keep them invested. So work on levels and experience and emotes and Little Chat Game all came about because, hey, if people have unlockables, it's the League of Legends mindset, right? As long as there are unlockables for people to enjoy the process, the Skinner box-like process of them having something to unlock is going to make them want to stay. A lot of people just left, and the reason they left, they said, was this game is too hard. In fact, there were people such as Misamoto-kun and Slammer4 who put in the case. There were many vibrant and active Reddit threads where people argued it's actually not a problem with Little Wargame. It's not a problem of development. It's not a problem of advertisement. Maybe it's just a problem with the real-time strategy genre as a whole. Maybe there's just too much difficulty in getting people from that beginning mindset where they're getting absolutely crushed. People like Zhao wrote an excellent Reddit thread, where Zhao in particular made the point that people can lose at the 30-second mark for building a tower, and they won't lose until the 6-minute 30 mark, when suddenly they don't know what they've done wrong, and it seems non-intuitive. I built this tower, it's a defensive structure, why am I now losing to somebody and getting crushed by them, and they have more units than me, and they're killing me? What's going on here? So some people laid at the fault of real-time strategy genre, and even now the impact of this on tutorials that people are making, campaigns, the way it structures people's minds, like the strong feelings that people have towards the ranked balance, the way that people want to make things smoother on an indoctrination, what we call in the military, or an onboarding, as maybe popularly has been said by Frost Giant Studios. All of these are things that have been impacted. And the final thing that this did, this 10-day period from July 5th to July 15th, in 2014, is that it really put the death knell in the argument that the thing that's holding Little Wargame back was advertising. If you enjoy the content that I make on this channel, or for the Little Wargame RTS channel on Twitch, or throughout any other space that involves Little Wargame, please consider subscribing to the Patreon link in the description box below.